Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's going to be none other than Xena taking on BenBot. BenBotBC, of course, the BC standing for Battle Cruiser. And so we know that this BenBot is gonna be a bot that plays for the late game most of the time. And it is indeed actually going for an SCV scout, which makes sense because BenBot's opponent, Xena, is a random bot, and so that means that you have to scout out to see what's going on. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. That goes a long way to supporting the channel. Join the Discord, which is linked down below if you want to become part of the community. I announce tournaments and stuff there. And then leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot games. We have got Xena telling us what it's going for. It says, well, it doesn't actually tell us exactly what build it's going for. It just tells us its percentages, but I believe it's going to be macro 73%. And so we're going to see how well Xena does against BenBot, because Xena is more of a cheesy bot, and BenBot is very focused in the macro. We do have BenBot trying to get off a cheeky proxy racks to mess with Xena. This gets a lot of kills against this gets a lot of kills against lower level bots, but against a high level bot like Xena, you're not a top bot if you die to something like a simple bunker building at your natural, because I have cast games in which BenBot would go for like a proxy bunker, and then it would just basically never get cleaned up. It would just send the opponent's bot into a meltdown as they keep feeding workers to their death and that kind of thing. But the bots are pretty darn advanced these days, so we don't see things like that happen too often. Now, Xena is getting up a fast third hatchery, so macroing away, whereas BenBot is taking a slower route to expanding as it's getting up a factory, getting up 2 racks. And then BenBot is a bot that also really likes its wall, tends to build a really strong wall, supply depots, and a bunker at the front before it expands, so it plays incredibly safe, slow and steady approach to building up. Now we do have these 2 Marines shooting away at this hatchery. However, a Queen is responding. It's going to be 3 Marines versus a Queen, but she starts off by attacking just one of the Marines. The other 2 are slow to come to help out, and they're not actually bringing it together to take down this Queen, so she will be able to clean them all up and save her precious hatchery. BenBot behind this has a Marauder, another Marine on the way, so just some light pressure being attempted. This is setting the Blue Terran back as far as macro is concerned, though. The third command, or the natural command center, just going up now, so very late compared to what you'd usually want as a Terran. It's pretty much always racks into Marine or Reaper and then expand in the TVZ matchup anyway. Then again, it is a bot game where the rules are different, so that actually lets you get away with a little bit more variety in the builds and stuff. Looks like one of these Marines may actually kill off an Overlord. That's nice, as it will supply block Xena. Xena fires up another Overlord in response, but that may have messed with its build a little bit, and that's actually quite important for BenBot, because Xena is already on 38 drones and mining happily. There's 2 Queens holding on at the front against this light Terran pressure, but now Lings are out, so I'm not sure what else BenBot's going to be able to do against this. The Lings get a surround on the Marauder, and yeah, what a solid defense from Xena. The opening looking good against this light pressure from BenBot, and again, I imagine BenBot's build works well against lower level bots, but against a bot like Xena, it's not something that succeeds. So I'll be happy when BenBot just changes its direction and stops feeding units across the map, because the returns really aren't there anymore. The Terran bot does have up a natural command center. Xena, though, is just powering up. Already at 55 workers, getting a layer up, getting up a 4th base. I'm worried in a couple minutes from now, because Xena is going to have a strong enough economy to make all the units that it possibly needs, whereas BenBot has set itself quite a bit behind. So yeah, I'm a little concerned on that front. Lings do kill some of the Marines that are still rallying across the map. They're just They're just doing their job, rallied to their death. The Lings then go back to taking their hate out on some rocks. Funny that the bot authors programmed that behavior, and like, yeah, if the Lings aren't doing anything, attack these rocks. Now, Xena is going to be looking to potentially put some pressure on BenBot. There is the bunker and the tank, so I imagine that should prevent these Lings from getting on in here. Of course, the wall can and will just be raised automatically. Bots are pretty darn consistent. If you just tell them, hey, if there's an enemy unit near this supply depot, raise it up. That's exactly what BenBot will do to prevent those Lings getting on in. Xena behind this is just still macroing up, getting up a 4th, getting the 5th base on the way up, 70. Drones just about 69. And then we have got, yeah, +1 missile attack on the way. By the way, if we could hit 69 likes on this video, that would be amazing. So give it a click if you haven't already. Lings are going to catch what I believe is a scouting SCV. There's now a Raven in the skies. Raven and a Hellion. I think they were intended to maybe clean up some creep. BenBot still has yet to fire up a 3rd command center as well, so it's really taken its sweet time with its build up this game. I mean, it's getting out a couple Widow Mines, so going to have that nice secured natural base. But the lack of a 3rd base already is just, it's screaming. It's 5 bases against 2. Xena just fired up another 12 workers, and there's no way BenBot's going to get significant damage done to Xena. Like, there's a tank, 8 Marines, and 2 Marauders. Xena is going to be able to fire up tons of units to defend against any significant aggression. BenBot really just has had a poor opening this game. We do see Lings getting a wraparound on some of these units. That's a good trade for the Zerg once more. BenBot has another scouting SCV running across the map. I'm getting really concerned for our blue Terran as this game goes on. Another bunker's on the way. I'm a big fan of that, at least, as I think BenBot will be on the defensive in a minute here, probably when Xena hits that maxed out supply. A burrowed Widow Mine does get taken care of, however it didn't have drilling claws, so it was revealed. And yeah, let's take a look here. BenBot definitely is being more aggressive than usual in this game, which I do find interesting. Like, it's still slowly building up and doing its thing. But yeah, the amount of units that the blue Terran has thrown away this game, 17 Marines, 3 Marauders, that have killed 9 Lings and an Overlord. A couple Creep Tumors too, but those are basically free. Xena is still out on the map with its Lings. It's at 175 supply against 92. And I do want to say, where's the music? Pardon me for this quick pause. Like, I got continuous music checked. But where are the tunes, Starcraft? Maybe it's just some of the quiet music for now. Anyway, we have got Stimpack on the way for BenBot. I think the main thing is going to be there is now a battle cruiser on the way for the blue Terran. That could potentially be a way to come back in this game, depending on how well Xena's going to handle that. The red Zerg once again comes forward, picks up the few units that BenBot has out on the map. It's just not building up enough supply to be making moves like this. Going to be losing more and more units. And yeah, there's no BC on the way yet either. The 3rd command center is landed now. It's starting to mine, so that's going to improve the economic situation. And the longer Xena gives, the better it will get for BenBot. I'm just not sure that Xena's going to sit back for too long, as, oh my gosh, this is a lot of Zerg now coming forward. So many Lings, 92 Lings trying to break this natural. There is an epic defensive setup. The depot is lowered, so the Lings think they can get in, which is very cool by BenBot. The tank and the Liberator are shooting away, but we are seeing Lings hit this planetary fortress. The Liberator is set up, though. Going to just be shooting away. And this planetary, I think, will finish, so that's going to drastically improve things. A fungal growth hits the Liberator. It very well could be repaired. We'll have to see about that, though. And so far, BenBot is holding on. The Liberator getting lots of free shots off on some Lings. A lot of Xena's army is just stuck, spamming the screen with all those clicks at 150,000 APM. Xena really likes to individually control its units. That is, I think that may be the highest APM I've ever seen in a game. That is just ridiculous. Now, Xena's going to have 2-2 on the way soon, so going to have a nice upgrade lead. Attacking up this ramp isn't quite working for the red Zerg, though. So at some point it's going to need to commit, but understandably, committing into 2 bunkers, a tank, Widow Mines, and a Liberator is not an easy thing to do. So the red Zerg is just sort of sitting back. There is Infestors burrowed underground, but yeah, so far BenBot is holding on the high ground. This planetary is now getting some nice free shots off. Xena is trading out, getting the odd pickoffs here, but could see this as a nice way forward for BenBot if it just really hunkers down. There is a command center floating over to the 4th base location. Creep is spreading there. It's actually going to be quite a race to see whether that command center gets there before the creep. Some more Zerg units are on the high ground, but the tanks are still shelling away. Infestors are being pushed on back. The trades are starting to look a little bit better for BenBot, as I don't know how many kills that tank has. 43, that's quite a few though, as Xena has thrown away a lot of stuff. It can afford to do that for now, but look at that. Yeah, the creep, it arrived just in time to block that expansion attempt, and the map is basically 90% covered in creep. So while BenBot has been able to hold on, I'm not sure it's ever going to be able to grow out. So Xena can just keep on mining, keep on making units, as it does have plenty more bases for it to take. This command center flying overhead may actually be shot down. That's going to be a nice pickoff for the Zerg. It actually does elect to change its direction, saying, hey, that's a hostile environment. The Raven was sent down to try and clean up the creep there. There's even a Liberator set on up. And yeah, Xena does seem to be a little bit hard stuck trying to get up this ramp. It's just not happening. Resources lost-wise, though, time is still on Xena's side, I think, as long as it takes more bases, as Xena still has yet to expand past its original 5 bases, so I'm wondering when we're going to see that. Xena is primarily an aggressive Zerg, so it doesn't macro every game, so it hasn't got as much focus in the late game play, I don't believe. There's the Viper on the ground as well. I'd love to see that abduct the Liberator potentially, but it's just about whether these units get the courage. It's very difficult to program a bot as to when to attack into a situation like this, which is why we see units sort of just hanging out. Like Xena's doing, it decides to go in, then it gets a little bit more vision, and then it sees, no, I can't actually engage there. That's why we see it just bleeding out units, I believe. A battle cruiser is on the front lines, now trading on out, picking off some Hydralisks, will be forced on back. Xena is still only on 5 bases. I'm wondering when we're going to see that 6th base. Some unit keeps getting rallied here, but then I think it may just be getting grabbed to do something else, maybe just to go back to mining. 3-3 is on the way for the Zerg, so upgrades are still improving. At the same time, BenBot does have triple BC production on the way, and that's going to be a very problematic army for Xena to deal with. I mean, the trades just haven't been that good for the red Zerg. BenBot is up to 180 supply. This planetary is holding strong. It's got 168 kills, primarily Zerglings, I think. Actually, so many Lings have died for Xena, as this red Zerg has just traded out so much supply. BenBot is starting to mine out, though. The main base, the natural base, are going to run dry fairly soon. Xena decides to go in. It tosses down a fungal, but then it says, nope, can't actually do that. More of these units have gravitated towards the north, though, which I think is actually going to benefit the red Zerg. A Neural Parasite even catches a battle cruiser. It then Yamato cannons a Raven. That's a nice pickoff for Xena. So finally, some trades looking a little bit better. At the same time, a Yamato cannon kills off one of those infestors. Another Yamato cannon hits, though. This BC is just all of a sudden playing for the wrong team. And Yamato cannons are still going down as these battle cruisers are getting some good trades for BenBot. This location has yet to be cleaned on up of creep, though. A Raven's flying around, but there's so many tumors just all over the place. We'll see if BenBot can ever get up a 4th base. That's actually really critical to keep our eyes on. Roaches are doing the funniest dance in the world down here. They're like, hey, we're not very good against battle cruisers, so we'll just hang out and have a dance party. Xena is still only on 5 bases, so we've yet to see a 6th base be taken. As I say that, though, we finally see one get fired on up. There is still just lots of this ground army for Xena on the way. 3-3 upgrades just about done. So, I mean, the Zerg units are no joke. At the same time, BenBot is getting closer to securing another expansion. This is something that BenBot has struggled with in the past. It gets close to cleaning up all the creep, but then there's always another tumor, it seems, causing problems. BenBot's got a significant bioforce on the ground that's still doing pretty well for itself. I honestly think things are going to improve for Xena when it actually stops trying to attack up this ramp. It's just traded away so much supply. How many kills does this one tank have? 121. This definitely is just a bot thing. As I don't think human players would be doing this. BCs are shooting friendly BCs, still causing problems. So Xena isn't getting like terrible. It's not getting 0 efficiency. It's just incredibly low army efficiency. as it just trades away more and more stuff. Xena saying nope, and gonna actually retreat. So BenBot has finally broken out. A double abduct by one Viper on a BC, and then it's like, wait a second, there's actually nothing to kill this battlecruiser. Creep is still blocking this base. We'll see how long that's gonna last. If BenBot can get up the 4th base, so that would be massive. There are Marines and Marauders out on the map. More Ravens have been built. Auto turrets are getting tossed on down, but this is the problem. The Raven actually gets out of vision of the creep tumor, but it finally does actually get cleaned on up. This could potentially mean there's going to be a new base getting up for BenBot, and that is exactly what the blue Terran needs. Looks like some Hydras are out on the map. They may catch a BC, but no, it just teleports on out of there. And this battle may be moving position, but yeah, that base, it's all of a sudden landed. It's got a Liberator tank to defend it, and Xena is all of a sudden having its lead potentially slip away from it and abduct on a BC, but the BC is like, yeah, I can just teleport out and be fine. The Zerg does spill forward, though, actually getting a nice attack off, killing off a tank, some more Terran units, and so BenBot doesn't necessarily have this base 100% secure yet. As I say that, though, the planetary finishes up, and that is basically as secure as a Terran base can get. Once you start repairing those PFs, they are very difficult to deal with. An attempt at a base down south isn't going to happen, but yeah, this is a problem for Xena. It just stops trading as efficiently as it needs to. The Zerg is actually running out of gas. It seems to have stopped mining gas entirely, and look at that. Yeah, not a single drone in a gas geyser right now is mining. Xena's like, oh, okay, I actually need some gas, so it puts a couple of drones into some of these extractors. Interesting economic management by the red Zerg there. Actually, yeah, cool approach by the bot author to be like, no, I don't need gas right now. So it does some interesting balancing with its drones. I've never noticed that about Xena before. Looks like this base attempt on the left side may be getting shut down. A Queen is busy, spreading creep all over the place. But so far, BenBot has bought itself a lot more time in this game by securing up this 4th base. If it can get the 5th, that would be huge. Liberators are posing a problem for the red Zerg. Hydras are seemingly trying to avoid that, but not perfectly. Never perfectly do they avoid this threat. Looks like the Hydras get close to the Liberators, but not quite. Meanwhile, BCs are still flying around. The battlecruiser count is at 5. Resources lost massively in favor of BenBot. 40k lost to 11k. Now, if BenBot only has 4 bases in this game, that's okay for Xena. If BenBot, say, takes the 5th, I think it'll be dodgy for Xena. If it takes a 6th base, then I think it will probably be lights out for the red Zerg, as you just can't trade this poorly. We are seeing a command center float over to this bottom side. However, there is a Queen and Zerg colony hanging out there. We'll see if this command center gets burned down or not. That would be a nice pickoff. BenBot's sending out another base. It just goes to show that these bots are not entirely logical. It's like, oh, I'll fly over all this creep. Surely there's the place for this command center to land. You got to try and get those expansions up. They're so important for just bots in general. Bots that don't expand enough are the ones that seem to lose games. So I'm glad to see BenBot's at least trying that, but I do believe that command center may be in hot water. Another one's burning down, but it will be getting repaired. Battle cruisers are still flying all over the place, and this is one of the weaknesses of Xena's macro. It does not build corruptors to help deal with battle cruisers, so that is problematic. And then it kind of just keeps making just the same units over and over again, making more lings, losing more lings. It's effective most of the time, but in a late game situation like this, we are seeing a bit of a hard time. Xena also not targeting the friendly or enemy battle cruiser, as that then gets starts to teleport, but then it gets interrupted as the neural parasite runs out. Another battle cruiser getting neural parasited. It's got a Yamato cannon. If only it could find a friendly or hostile unit to shoot. There's a teleport that just gets burned by Xena. Interesting programming. I didn't even know that a teleport would be cancelled if a battle cruiser had its neural parasite expire halfway or at the last second. So that's a good way to burn the teleport by Xena, an interesting approach. BCs are now moving down towards this 5th base location, potentially clearing it on out though, so that's going to really hurt for Xena if BenBot can secure this location. As trade-wise, BenBot's losing it's like a 1-to-5 trades, which is not good for the Zerg. BenBot does start to move out with some Marines on the map. They will actually start to be picked off, so the blue Terran is going to lose some resources there. Another command center attempting to fly over the map. There will be no expansion there, as we keep hearing the constant click of battle cruisers. Queens are stepping forward, trying to reestablish or hold on to this base location. This one Liberator is still causing problems. Hydras and Queens cannot deal with it. Xena's like, hey, avoid the circle, get the Liberator, but it just doesn't come together. More Lings are running on out on the map, but when there's a planetary fortress, they just don't stand a chance, and they bug out a little bit. Xena is at least getting a couple of unit pickoffs here and there. Yamato Cannon going to kill a friendly Viking. And this command center starts the long march home, but a couple Hydras do find it. And with +3 attack, they may be able to kill off this CC. There's been one CC dead. This is probably going to be the second one. BenBot is getting close to securing up this 5th base location. There's a few more creep tumors. Xena wants to spread more creep over to this location. Battlecruiser all of a sudden turns hostile. The Liberator, though, holding on to this location is so big, I think, preventing free movement of the Zerg units. Looks like this command center actually will stay alive somehow, despite all odds. SCVs even came out to repair it. Some of those will get picked off. Battlecruiser comes on down here, gets neural parasited. I do really respect Cannon Anna, the bot that actually targets these things down when they're neural parasited. The more I see, I think that may be the right approach. Xena still trying to push on the front. Both bots spending money pretty much as fast as they can get it. Xena spending it much more inefficiently. We see BenBot trying to float another command center over. The Zerg is trying to spread more creep over here. It looks like Queens almost placed down some creep tumors in range of the Liberator, but Liberators don't actually attack creep tumors, I believe. So if one of those actually gets placed down, going to have to be cleaned up at some point, so the creep spreading will resume. Xena is battling all over the place. Okay. BC's auto turrets moving on down towards the bottom left, trying to secure this location, and this game is at quite a stalemate. It's just, unlike in a pro match, when there's a stalemate, there's not a lot happening. In these bot games, it can be a stalemate, and there's still constant fighting, just neither bot really gaining or losing ground. BenBot is having quite a few of its BCs push back. I mean, they are killing Zerg units during this chaos, though. There's quite a Bioforce on the ground as well for the Terran player. Xena does have quite a nice Hydra and Queen count towards the south. It's now securing another location up, which is actually the last base that Xena really hasn't taken that it can possibly take. First 3 bases are mined out, although there's a little bit of gas at this one, but it's kind of been ignored. 4th base even looking mined out, so we can look at BenBot's side of the map, and we're seeing that BenBot really is strapped for cash. It's got this 1 base mining left, that's it. It's doing fine as far as minerals go, but it does need to start mining these other gas depots at some point. Repairing battle cruisers isn't free, so that actually will burn through the bank of BenBot. And yeah, it is actually running dry on money to repair these BCs. So BenBot actually gets up a 5th base at the perfect time, though. Somehow able to secure that location. That's massively important. Xena letting that happen is really problematic for the Red Zerg, as that's going to allow BenBot to keep playing this game for a long, long time. As, I mean, it's been going for 23 minutes off of 4 bases. 5 minutes, it's going to be able to go until most of Xena's bases are mined out. And that's going to be really problematic for the Red Zerg. Another command center is flying on over creep, but there's not really enough Zerg units here to deal with that. Where are all these Hydras on the map? They are just everywhere, as battlecruisers are constantly skirmishing with the Red Zerg. Looks like this command center may actually go down this time. They've been pretty lucky with flying out. The Hydras, though, they are getting distracted and pulled away. And so the BCs, or I mean the command centers, pardon me, are just kind of casually flying on over. Then the command center's like, wait a second, that parking spot is taken. If only I could have known. Yamato Cannon still going down all over the place as BenBot constantly trades with these BCs. The ground units, I think, are a source of weakness, as it is actually a money loser for the Terran. 88 dead Marines, 21 dead Marauders. 2 BCs have died in this game. I have missed it, so some of them have been going down. It's just a rare event. BenBot is maxed out. It's actually starting to build up a bit of a bank now that it has this location mining happily. Interestingly enough, BenBot doesn't take the gas at this location. It decides to take it at this location, the new one, which I find a little bit odd, but interesting sequence of events there. We've now got the Hydras and battle cruisers going at it once again. A Neural Parasite does catch one of the BCs, turning it into a foe, but problem is I believe it may just teleport on out of there. Or will Xena do its teleport thing? No, it actually does just get to teleport out of danger once again. So these BCs are getting some really good efficiency. They will be getting sent home. Maybe this one will go down. It is off teleport, but no, Xena actually does elect to just pull back. The red Zerg is even mining out this left-hand side of the map, and this right-hand side of the map is starting to mine out too. So really it's just one fresh base against one fresh base, and I think we all know how that efficiency is going to go for Xena, having lost almost 100,000 resources. I think we're probably going to see that this game for Xena. Only needs to lose another 25k after all. What's 25,000 resources to a Zerg like Xena? And yeah, it just goes to show that Xena probably needs some tweaks with its army, I think it's safe to say. Like, it's tossing down fungals, it's getting some damage done, but BenBot trading at almost a 2-to-1 ratio, if not a 2-to-1 ratio, 4-to-1 ratio, pardon me. That is really just not enough for Xena. It needs to get kills on these BCs, or it needs to stop throwing away as many units. This strategy for Xena, I'm sure it works in a lot of its games, but BenBot's defensive style really shines against this. BC's just killing off Hydras, getting some damage, then teleporting away. This one BC has 95 kills. What a legend. As that is just some really good cost efficiency for BenBot. Xena is eventually actually going to stop being able to sustain its insane trades too. Roaches on the ground and Lings are catching some of these Terran bio units, but the battle cruisers in the skies pose problems still. There's 8 out currently. BenBot has got plenty of mining to do still as well, so it's not going to run out of resources to repair these BCs anytime soon, and that is one of the losing requirements for BenBot. BC is still out on the map skirmishing. I really do think that yeah, it's one of those things. It's once BenBot seemingly reaches a certain amount of supply and bases that the same composition isn't going to work out. That's where it really only loses to the Zerg bots that are more efficient in the late game. I'll say like Canonana comes to mind. Maybe Eris, but I think even Eris struggles with this late game of BenBot a little bit if BenBot gets to this point. And so I think it is just a testament to how strong this strategy is once it gets established for BenBot. Like, it's pretty cut and dry that if BenBot hadn't got up a 4th or hadn't got up a 5th, it would have lost the game. But I do think that Xena is just running out of steam. It's not over yet, but it's lost 86k to 20,000 resources. 1,000 Lings against a battle cruiser army. What are those Lings possibly doing? It's not like they're sniping planetaries. We've even got these 2 command centers hovering over the Zerg base. The drones are looking up like that dude in that meme. And now we have got, Xena still just trying to hold on, but it's actually falling in supply as it can't maintain its ridiculous spending. If only the government would listen to that. Now we have got, let's see, Queens just getting shredded by battle cruisers. And yeah, the BCs, they're just actually able to clear out this base. We'll see if BenBot is able to take it, but Xena's not trading out efficiently enough. It's got lots of Lings and Roaches on the ground, but they're not doing anything. BenBot still has got lots of mining left at this location, lots of mining left at this location. I just don't think there's a way that Xena can win this game at this point. It needed to trade more efficiently, and it never did. Even the Infestors, like, Neural Parasiting the BCs is good, but if it just, say, teleported them on location all the time, then, or even attacked the BCs once they were neuraled, that could have drastically improved the fortunes of Xena here. It's one of those things, so Xena's bot author programs 3 races, a lot of different builds, so it's not surprising that the one macro build for Zerg isn't able to contend with a late game bot like BenBot all the time. At the same time, Xena does win games against BenBot when its aggression succeeds. It really is just one of those things. Longer games skew towards certain bots. And it is one of those, it is really entertaining to watch this though, but I believe BenBot does have this one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've watched up until this point in this game, go ahead and click that like button, as clearly you enjoy this chaos as much as I do. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. And if you want to become a member to support the channel, you can click that join button. And yeah, leave a like, a comment down below saying more bots. It's not over yet, but Xena is falling in supply. The BCs of BenBot really are heroes. I do wonder how much resources lost would show up on BenBot's screen if those BCs died, because that's something that does happen when a battlecruiser or a unit that's been repaired dies. It actually shows up on the resources lost tab, which is something we learned through watching these bot games. I'm looking for that BC that had so many kills. Where is it? 104 is good, but I thought there would be one with more. That's pretty darn good. 4 battlecruisers. Hydra's attacking command centers. Somehow only one command center has gone down this game, despite them flying like they're drunk. Yeah, Xena's mining is just non-existent anymore. If there was 50 bases on this map, maybe Xena would win. But there's just not enough to allow it to keep losing so many resources. Tanks even moving out for BenBot. BenBot's like, right, I can finally move out and attack. I've been contained to 5 bases for so long. It's even can't really justify taking these 6 bases, seeing as how they're pretty much mined out now. This one's not mined out. And that really is the last of Xena's mining going down for the most part. So the red Zerg shall be broke as a joke. They speed things up a little more. Drones going down. BenBot slowly securing this win. Very, very slowly. Xena doesn't really have any units left. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. If you do enjoy these late game matches, let me know in the comments down below. I try and keep it fresh, having a mix of the late game ones, having some of the shorter ones. Maybe I'll do like a super cheesy video soon with some more of the shorter games. Or I could always do one before I do these longer matches. That's just me thinking out loud as we watch BenBot slowly clean out the bases of Xena. Xena, yeah, just got lots of creep tumors left still. That's about it. 230 left. I can't imagine how many were on the map at peak. I should have checked that. It was probably like 600 at least or something like that. That is going to be it though. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.